Maybe they present, you know, maybe you jigsaw it, so one group of students has one concept, one has another, and then you use integrity to allow them to present that information back to the group, the whole group. Or you know, there are any number of ways that you could do that. I mean, I think this is where we so often forget now that we're in the internet age, we're in the information age. We could actually have them partnering with people who actually do the discipline. There are so many communities online, you know, where you can have your students partner with, if your emphasis is multicultural, you're partnering with someone in a different country. Or if you're in business, maybe they're partnering with some employees at 3M. Does that company still exist? I don't know. I don't know anymore. But, you know, if it's law, maybe they partner with a lawyer. If it's biology, maybe they partner with a postdoc, somebody who's doing postdocs somewhere. Or if it's nursing, maybe they partner with some nurse assistants, or not that nurses have time to do that sort of thing, but maybe there's a nurse practitioner or administrator somewhere that they can talk to. Even just sending your students out to interview these people and to get the information from the source in a real world way rather than lecturing. And I'm not actually here to talk you out of lecturing. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just saying that, you know, what is going to be the most effective form to transmit this information online? I'm not going to go over that. You all know how to lecture. So, and it's in there if you want to see it. I have encountered this as I have been doing these workshops, because Andy Goodnow, my boss, he likes for me to record these and he wants me to put them online. Okay, well, that all sounds very fine and good until you sit down and you review it. And you know, that one embarrassing moment, it might just fly by, you know, in the classroom. For instance, last week, my cuff was unbuttoned for half of the workshop, and I was just flapping around. And I didn't even know this until I watched the workshop back, and I was like, oh, my gosh. Okay, so if you're going to do this, if you're going to do it online, then write a script. Go ahead and do that for yourself. If you really want to show your video, that's great. But I think it just is going to depend on how you're presenting, because if you're reading from your script, or if you're trying to look at the camera and read from the script, it's really not going to, again, it's like the music in the musical, it's not furthering the plot in any way, it's actually more distracting. So I would actually create my script and then go ahead and rehearse what you're going to do. And keeping in mind, you know, these guidelines that we have, how is this going to move us forward in doing our activity? How does this really relate to our objectives? Go ahead and rehearse so that you're not watching that video back going, oh my gosh, what was that? And that's one reason I think that using your lectures that you do in your face-to-face class to supplement your face-to-face class, that's a great idea. But I think if you're going to do it online, you probably want to gear your lectures for the online environment, because it's going to, just that one moment in time that, you know, something happened, your shoe squeaked, or, you know, your hair flipped, or something happened, you said the wrong word. It's going to exist in eternity. And if not in eternity in your students' minds, and possibly their parents or anybody else that they show it to, just to kind of get a kick out of it at your expense. So I would just say script, rehearse, and then, you know, go ahead and do this using integrity, or contact us. We can do it in the studio if you wanted to do it in an interview format, or if you wanted to do like a round table discussion. If you wanted to set up some scenarios that we could write scripts and we could film, we have the resources to do that, and we are very committed to creating online courses of quality, so we can do that. And we're going to have a flash multimedia artist soon. So multimedia presentation, which might take the place of a lecture, you know, we can do that. Whatever the best way is for you to get your material across to your students, we can certainly help with that. Have you heard of the micro-lecture?
Haven't heard of it, but I've kind of been trying to do that all along. Right down to the key concepts, not all the details.
Well, that's great, because I know your students really appreciate that. Extend
I
it.
appreciate thinking they don't have to know the details.
Well, you know, and isn't that the hard thing, teaching with concepts, you know, how do we ensure that they get those details? And that's tough. But this is from the Chronicle, March 6th. Take a 60-minute lecture and then cut it down to 60 seconds. Now, I don't know how a person does that. I'll just be very honest with you. I have no idea. I would think if you could cut it down into maybe 4 3-minute sections, that would be an accomplishment. 10-minute sections are an accomplishment. But I think it's an interesting idea. And have you seen the books that now they're delivering over text messaging? Just like, what is Twitter? How many characters? 140? Yeah, so it's 140 characters at a time. They're delivering books. Now, this is going to, I don't understand. But if this actually took off, which they're saying that there are kids it is, you know, how does that change publishing and the way we think about publishing? So that's how, you know, 140 characters. Boom, boom, boom. It's going to be an art form to create these micro lectures. But that being said, I thought we might try it. Would you like to? Okay. So we're going to create a very short lecture accompanied by a PowerPoint presentation. And we're going to use Tegrity to do this, because I think we've all worked with WMBA, and I'm not sure if we've worked with Tegrity at this point. So this is our very short lecture, 30 seconds, with a PowerPoint, and the topic is, how might you apply these concepts that we've talked about today in an online